The incredible story and dark truths about Steve Jobs exposed. Before we start, I'd like you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Entrepreneur Central. We know a lot about Steve Jobs thanks to his willingness in the last years of his life to share stories with his biographer about what drove him to co-found Apple Inc. and reinvent the PC, music players, phones, and tablets, but there are plenty of Steve stories that you haven't heard about. And with any great leader, neither Jobs nor his company came without flaws. These are the incredible and dark truths about Steve Jobs. Number 1. Steve Jobs was against giving money to charity. At one point in his life, Steve Jobs spent some time thinking philanthropically. After leaving Apple in 1986, he started the Stephen P. Jobs Foundation, which closed just over a year later. Returning to Apple in 1997, Jobs immediately shuttered the company's philanthropic programs and never reinstated them, despite the company's massive profits. Jobs did more good focusing his energy on expanding Apple as a company than he could by switching to focus on charity. When you consider his $7 billion of net worth, it's astonishing that he's had no public record of ever giving to charity. Number 2. Disarm rather than charm. In 1989, Next, struggling to win over buyers, got a meeting with IBM to discuss licensing the Next Step software for use on IBM's OS/2 computers, recalls a former Next executive who asks not to be named. Executives from both companies gathered in a conference room at Next headquarters in Deer Creek Road in Palo Alto, California, waiting for Jobs to arrive. He finally came in, turned to the senior IBM executive and said, "Your user interface sucks." This is how he got to be a good negotiator. He would totally disarm people by dropping F-bombs, the Next executive recalls. Number 3. Apple uses fear and intimidation to silence the press. Under Jobs' rule, Apple's legal teams become known for intimidating journalists. One such instance occurred in 2005 when the company brought a civil lawsuit after 19-year-old blogger Nick Ciarelli correctly reported the existence of the Mac Mini prior to its launch. The legal skirmish only ended after Ciarelli agreed to shut down his blog forever. Gizmodo staff also reported that after the tech media outlet posted a video of the iPhone 4 prototype, Apple complained to law enforcement who later raided editor Jason Chen's home.
No, we're not going to allow this. This is violating our privacy policies, and it's pissing us off that they're publishing data about our new products.
Number 4. Blunt, but with taste. Guy Kawasaki, Apple's chief evangelist and liaison to the Mac developer community, was working in his cubicle after the Mac was introduced in 1984 when Jobs showed up one day with another guy in tow. Jobs asked Kawasaki for his opinion about a program from a Mac developer called Nowhere, which was short for the Knowledge Software and Company made. Kawasaki says, "I tell him what I think, which is extremely negative. When I'm done, he turns to the guy, then looks back at me and he says, 'Guy, this is the CEO of Nowhere.'" This story illustrates Jobs' lack of hesitancy to hang his employees out to dry. There are two components to giving employees great feedback. It takes someone who has the taste to know when you did great or lousy, and it takes somebody who's blunt enough to tell you. There are plenty of people who don't have taste but are in fact just purely blunt. Number 5. The staff often suffered from verbal abuse.
What are you gonna fire me?
No! I already fired you! Why are you still here?
Steve Jobs had a reputation for being a tyrant in the office. In 2008, Fortune reported that shortly after the disappointing launch of MobileMe, an email system which would provide seamless synchronization features similar to the BlackBerry, Jobs reportedly doled out half-hour public humiliations of the team responsible, saying, "Can anybody tell me what MobileMe is supposed to do?" Having received a satisfactory answer, he continued, "So why the fuck doesn't it do it? You've tarnished Apple's reputation." He told them, "You should hate each other for having let each other down." According to Fortune, Jobs ended his verbal accosting by replacing the head of the group on the spot. Number 6. Steve Jobs would fire people without notice. During his tenure as the chairman of the board of directors at Pixar, lost profits in the company's 3 endeavors, hardware, software, and animated content, forced Jobs to make a round of deep layoffs. Jobs insisted that the employees were to let go without warning or service pay. Pamela Kerwin, then Pixar's vice president and general manager, insisted that employees should be given at least 2 weeks' notice, to which Jobs was reported to have shouted back, "Okay, but the notice is retroactive from 2 weeks ago." Number 7. Steve Jobs denied his paternity. When Steve Jobs was 23, his daughter Lisa was born out of wedlock. According to ex-partner and Lisa's mother, Christian Brennan, Jobs spent the next 2 years denying paternity. Jobs vouched that he couldn't be Lisa's father because he was sterile and infertile, as a result thereof did not have the physical capacity to procreate a child. When Brennan told Jobs she was pregnant, she recounted that he had a fiery look and said, "If you give up this baby for adoption, you'll be sorry, and I'm never going to help you. I soon quit the little job I had at Apple and went on welfare and started cleaning houses to make a little more money under the table." This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can stay up to date on all our future videos. Also, watch the 2 ones that are currently on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.